Hey guys, Metal Viking 82 here, back with another Viking Orations. Got yet another review for you today, and this time I'm going to be talking to you about the forthcoming debut full-length album from the band Vaticinal Rites, entitled Cascading Memories of Immortality, due out May 10th through Everlasting Spew Records. And if you're not familiar with Vaticinal Rites, they are a death metal band out of London, England, been around since 2020, featuring Chris Clavulu, hopefully I pronounced that right. If not, I apologize. On the rhythm guitar, Andreas Yasumi on lead guitar, and I'm assuming bass because he did play it on their EP. So I'm assuming that he also played it on here. It's not really officially listed, but just from what I can figure out, that's what I'm assuming. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Max Southall on the drums, and finally Marcus Broom handling the vocals. As I said, this is their debut full-length album. It is 9 tracks and just one tick over 35.5 minutes in length. And I've honestly been a fan of these guys since their 2021 self-titled debut EP. So when it was announced they were working with Everlasting Spew Records to release a full length, I was very excited, and even more so once the promo hit my inbox. It's been 3 years since that debut EP, but they have not lost a step and have only gotten better over time, I think. The bass on here, while it is definitely thick toned, it doesn't really sit too high up in the mix. It kind of tends to work with the guitars, kind of build that heavy wall and give everything a nice solid backbone. Yet it does kind of cut through in spots here and there, such as the last track, the title track, Cascading Memories of Immortality. Now, on the previous track, though, track number 8, Eroding Planetesimal. That is such a hard word to say. This is actually an instrumental interlude, which honestly, I found the placement of this song to be a little odd. There's 9 tracks on here, and you put the interlude on track number 8. To me, it would have made more sense to put it on track number 5, but that's just me. That's just semantics here. But the point is, this interlude, it has this really slow and heavy bass riff that just sounds absolutely badass, especially when it combines with the dueling, slow-picked riffs of that instrumental. Very, very cool. That's probably the best that you can really hear the bass on this album. The drums have a nice snap to the snare. I really dig the kicks on here, and while he really doesn't do anything too over the top or flashy or anything, he's always laying down some solid beats with some nice patterns, rolls, and fills, and I loved his double bass work on this album. The guitars on here, oh my god, such great guitar work. They're not too polished, yet they have just that right amount of dirtiness to them as well. Not quite raw, they're just like right there in the middle, that sweet spot. Mid to fast pace and just absolutely heavy as hell, yet also has a bit of that thrashy, old school death metal feel to them. You get some Slayer-esque riffs at times. There's some dissonant sounding riffs that really pop up here and there. And just some absolutely killer solos with some excellent use of the whammy bar, I thought. And then you even get some pinch harmonics that can be found here and there at times. When you get into track number 5, Siphoning Plasma from the Gods, which, God, what a title. About a minute 42 into that song, there's this really nice groove that really kind of made me think of Intestinalism off of their An Anatomy of the Beast debut album. Definitely had a bit of a vibe there. The follow-up track, track number 6, Unhinged Cataclysm. 30 seconds into that song, I love that heavy groove with a double bass underneath, and then finally at about the 51-second mark, that wailing whammy bar comes in, leading to an absolutely killer solo. And then the closing track, the title track, Cascading Memories of Immortality. About 5:27 into that song, that's another killer solo to be found on here. I mean, there's just so many awesome solos on this album. I thought Marcus turned in a very powerful vocal performance here. He mixes these nice low-end growls with these just nasty-sounding screams at times. Just absolutely badass, in my opinion. Overall, I think this is just another solid offering from this English death unit. It's fast, hooky, and just heavy old school death metal that gets the head bang with a plethora of grooves and just keeps things interesting. The closing track is actually just under 7 minutes in length, yet it flows so nicely that you never really notice how long the song is. You're just so caught up into it, and you're just head banging along, and then you look over, it's like, oh man, this has been almost 7 minutes. Yeah, and, and honestly, that's how each of these songs are. They're not none. That's probably the longest song on here. I mean, most of these songs are about that your standard length, but everything flows so well that you just get so caught up that it's over before you know it. But still, really good songwriting on here. I do wish the bass was just a little bit higher in the mix. I mean, it does work overall for what the band was going for, but you know me, I just really would have liked to hear it just a little bit more. Still, honestly, there's really no complaints here for this album. I mean, if you dig bands like Monstrosity, maybe early Sinister, and the bands of that ilk, definitely give this band a go. I give this a solid 8.5 out of 10. Go check them out. I will be leaving a link down below so you can check out the singles and pick up a copy for yourself. I know I'm definitely going to be picking up a copy. Comes out May 10th, 8.5 from me. Thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing. And until next time, stay brutal.